Iran's military claims its navy forced American destroyers to leave the Sea of Oman after a dramatic show of force. Tehran says warning missiles and drones compelled U.S. warships to alter course. Details emerge. Iranian officials say Qadir missiles and Shahid Dana drones were used in a warning operation targeting U.S. naval vessels. Tehran claims the destroyers departed toward the Indian Ocean after the warning action, a version of events disputed by CENTCOM. Iran claimed its navy forced multiple U.S. warships to withdraw from the Sea of Oman during an incident on June 5 amid heightened regional tensions. Iran's army said warning shots involving Qadir missiles and newly unveiled Shahid Dana drones were fired during the operation in the Sea of Oman. Tehran claimed the warning action targeted U.S. destroyers DDG-103 and DDG-8, which it said were operating near Iranian waters at the time. Iranian Navy said, and I quote, "After warning shots by the Qadir missile and the new Shahid Dana invading drones of the Islamic Republic of Iran's Navy, the transgressor destroyers DDG-103 and DDG-8 left the Sea of Oman toward the Indian Ocean. Following this operation and similar operations in recent days, in addition to the Zionist American enemy destroyers operating under the USS George H.W. Bush Carrier Strike Group, the Tripoli amphibious assault helicopter carrier has also been compelled to leave the Sea of Oman." Unquote. Tehran described the reported withdrawal as part of its broader campaign against what it called U.S. maritime activities in nearby waters. The Iranian Navy warned that longer-range missile systems could be employed in future if regional tensions continue to escalate. Iranian officials said the U.S. vessels had moved beyond the operational range of the weapons reportedly used during the warning action. The claims came after several days of heightened military tensions across the Gulf region and the strategic Sea of Oman. Tehran said its armed forces would not tolerate what it described as foreign military pressure within its maritime zones. U.S. officials have not publicly confirmed Iran's claims regarding the reported movements of the destroyers or other vessels. Iran's IRGC has claimed responsibility for the latest attacks on Kuwait and Bahrain. The IRGC said it targeted U.S. military bases in the two Gulf states, according to Times of Israel. Iran said the attack was retaliation for U.S. strikes on its radar sites earlier in the night. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "At 1:30 this morning, for offending tankers, with the instigation and guidance of the U.S. aggressor army, without coordination and without paying attention to the warnings of the IRGC Navy, intended to leave the Strait of Hormuz illegally." Following this incident, at 2 o'clock, American drones hit a telecommunications tower in Qeshm and a mast in Sirak with 2 projectiles. In response to the aggression of the American child-killing army, 2 American air bases in Kuwait named Ali al-Salem and the remaining important facilities of the 5th Fleet of the American Navy in Bahrain were immediately targeted by IRGC Aerospace Force ballistic missiles. "We warn the aggressor and child-killer enemy that if these evils are repeated, a limited response will not suffice. You will be responsible for the consequences of the complete closure of the Strait of Hormuz on the exit of your oil and gas." Unquote. Meanwhile, the U.S. military appears to be trying to contain the fallout, saying Iran launched 7 ballistic missiles. U.S. officials said the missiles were fired toward Kuwait and Bahrain, according to Times of Israel. The missiles were launched hours after the U.S. said it had thwarted 4 Iranian one-way attack drones. U.S. Central Command statement said, and I quote, "U.S. forces intercepted multiple Iranian ballistic missiles and drones launched by Iran toward the Strait of Hormuz and Gulf neighbors, June 5. Iran fired 7 ballistic missiles toward Kuwait and Bahrain hours after U.S. Central Command CENTCOM shot down 4 Iranian one-way attack drones that were launched toward the Strait of Hormuz. The attack drones posed an immediate threat to regional maritime traffic. U.S. forces subsequently struck Iranian coastal surveillance radar sites in Gorak and on Qeshm Island to defend against further maritime attacks. Initial assessments indicate 6 of the missiles launched by Iran were intercepted and a 7th did not reach its intended target. There are currently no reports of harm to U.S. personnel, and Iranian claims of damaging U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain are false. CENTCOM forces remain vigilant and postured to continue responding to unwarranted Iranian aggression in self-defense. Unquote. The IRGC claimed the latest strike after a former commander warned of a wider conflict. The latest military exchange began after US forces intercepted 4 drones allegedly heading toward one of the world's most strategic waterways. American strikes reportedly focused on Iranian radar and surveillance sites along the Gulf Coast and near the Strait of Hormuz. Washington says the action was taken to protect regional security and ensure the safety of international maritime traffic. According to US officials, the drones were intercepted and destroyed before they could reach commercial shipping lanes. The latest confrontation has intensified concerns that the uneasy truce between the United States and Iran may be unraveling. Kuwaiti authorities announced emergency measures after reporting incoming missile and drone threats targeting the country. The military called on residents to remain alert and follow official guidance as security forces responded to the situation. Across the Gulf, Bahrain activated warning sirens and advised citizens and residents to move to safe locations as tensions escalated. Donald Trump said Iran still retains about 21% to 22% of its missile arsenal despite months of US military strikes. The US president made the remarks during an interview with NBC News on June 5. Trump claimed that most of Iran's missile factories, drone production facilities and launch infrastructure had been destroyed. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "Most of the drone factories have been knocked out. Most of the launching pads have been knocked out, and most of the missile manufacturing areas have been knocked out. But they still have capacity. They have some missiles, they have some drones. I would say percentage-wise, maybe 21% to 22% of their missiles. It's a lot of missiles, but it's not what it was when we first attacked." Unquote. NBC noted that Trump's latest estimate was slightly higher than the roughly 18% figure he publicly cited in May. Despite those losses, Trump acknowledged that Iran still retained a meaningful missile and drone strike capability. Despite continued tensions, Trump told NBC that he still believed an agreement with Iran remained achievable. He said Iranian leaders were resisting US demands more because of national pride than military considerations. Donald Trump said, and I quote, "They're strong, they're proud. There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do. They've got no choice, and it takes a little while." Unquote. Iranian officials, however, maintained that negotiations remained deadlocked over several major unresolved issues. Tehran has continued demanding financial relief and access to frozen assets before agreeing to any deal.